Hey everybody, I had a request about, I think it was during last week's last month's live stream, uh, as far as video requests to go through some of my sketchbooks. So I thought I'd whip out one of my little sketchbooks here. This is it's about the size of my hand, so moleskin, which is pronounced moleskina if I'm correct. All the notebook snobs will correct me. Anyway, this is just like it's not even a sketchbook, it's just like a paper, like a loose, thin paper for writing. It's just unruled. So at some point during my sketches, keeping sketchbooks, I started coloring in sketches and with markers. So this is just basically Prismacolor and Copic markers on this paper, and it takes it really well. So I've got, I don't really have a plan when I do sketches. This guy's a little scientist guy saying the things on my workbench are in a weird perspective. I can't work under these conditions. But this right here, I think these are church notes. I just started drawing people in a little comic. I started doing little goofy comics and coloring them in just one color. Really free association things there. But this notebook is the one I carried last year to San Diego, and it's kind of a preview of my art book, since the art book has a lot of different things in it, but this is one of them, which is this travel sketchbook. And a lot of this, like these two girls were on either side of me on the airplane. I didn't draw them on the plane. I have a habit of, if I know I want to draw a situation, I'll pay attention to what's going on, what's around me, and just kind of get basic features and things and make notes, and then sit down shortly thereafter and draw them. So it's like a G.K. Chesterton quote I like: "The tourist sees what he's come to see, the traveler sees what he sees." That's kind of my mindset when I go to Comic-Con, definitely, because I am not going to stand in line for anything. So I remember this girl fell asleep with her face smushed in front of the chair. So I usually stay up in Carlsbad with some friends. So I got up, I think I was sitting in Starbucks just sketching people. So I went to go see a family the next day. So I'm just, kind of recounting my day. And one of the reasons that I started this was because at San Diego, as you'll see here, it's just overwhelming, and I needed something to do to occupy my time. So between making videos and keeping this, it kept me busy, gave me kind of a purpose within the purpose of networking and meeting up with people. But it's such a long and exhausting show that I needed just something else to do. I got really sunburnt. That year. Complaining about my eggs, the price of my eggs, just things to do. I went to, this is, I'm sitting in, I'm sketching different types of people. Not really, what are the body postures and different color people wear and things. My goal is never to stand in line. I was at a Transformers panel, and they were just talking about the Michael Bay version, so I left. So this is the comic that basically sums up. So I feel like I'm missing something. Like there's something really vital to my career I should be doing here at Comic-Con. And if I were more savvy, I'd be doing it. But what is it? And that's pretty much any given person at Comic-Con. You are here. This is a world of possibilities, except you don't know what those possibilities are. I actually think it's an illusion of possibilities, not so much a world. So yeah, it's easy to get. As this sketchbook is on, it's going to get more and more scribbly, because the more exhausted I get. I started taking the train down because parking was expensive and getting poorer. So I had to save money. I remember this dude. This dude was at a coffee. He was super friendly, but not in an annoying way. And this girl was on her phone, scrolling, as you can see from her hand. I was trying to capture that hand, that iPhone scrolling finger. And I'd forgotten about it. This is a good thing why I write down things. I forgot this little interaction happened. A guy walked by, and a friend of mine goes, man, he looks different in person. I'm like, who is he? He's like, an old actor. Well, not that old, but I don't know what happened there. So this is Saturday. Things are getting a little scribbly. I remember that girl, but I don't remember where I saw her. I was looking through this the other day, and I was like, I remember that. But I wouldn't have remembered it had I not drawn them. So you can see it's a lot scribbly here, but I really like that face, the way it came out. Even though it's looser, I kind of tightened it up with the, I don't know, it's just got a different feel than the other drawings, but I still kind of dig it. So I hang out at this Cuban cigar factory a lot because it's quiet, because Comic-Con, not really their clientele apparently. But I remember she was cosplaying as Wonder Woman. She must have been in her 20s, and much older guys were around her and lavishing her with attention, and she was eating it up. This guy runs the place. 2 years ago, he didn't know how to light a cigar. I think he's a cigarette smoker, and he would just completely torch the thing. This is on Sunday. This is the last day. You see what happens here. Scribbly, hard to get around. Just drawing people. Everybody's starting to look tired. The drawing is getting tired. So that was pretty much the record of my trip. That took the whole week of just sitting down at different times and sketching people. And then here, I think I'm just like really, this has to be post-convention exhaustion, but still drawing. But, you know, one of the things I used to do, and I've noticed that looking at other younger artists who have sketchbooks, is that in my sketchbook was the same way. Usually it would be like, you'd have like, where was that one? I said I didn't know what happened, like something like that, right? I don't know why I left that blank. It looks like that's me. I don't know why I'm so angry. But it would be like one head, and then you felt like the drawing failed, so you change the page, you know, turn the page, start another. And then you have a whole sketchbook of like just head here. At a certain point, and I think most artists like this, they just start filling up books. Just fill it up. Fill up all that space. This is practice. You know, I think another church notes. And then back to, this is a lot of what, you know, just a lot of heads and practicing just letters and things and different head shapes, and another little goofy comic. This little sage guy keeps showing up in my comics. I might have to do something with him sometime. A lot of it's just playing with different line weights and sketching people, and I think this comic ends up in the art book. But I really like how, like, taking a sketching a little stupid alien dinosaur thing, but then just playing with the colors. It's a good opportunity to figure out just how markers blend things. And just little comments, and you can be scribbly and just figuring out, you know, different textures and things. That's the nice thing about a sketchbook. It should be a place to fail a lot. That is a horrible Hulk. I have no idea what this is. Another comic. So this is, you know, a lot of times what my sketchbooks end up like, but they kind of go through. I was looking through another one, just selecting one, and there was a period of time where I would carry a red crayon, so there'd be a lot of red. Like there was a red and gray phase where it would be red crayon, color a little bit with red crayon, and then just a gray marker, and it has kind of a feel to it. And then I started doing the full color, so they kind of, you know, hop back and forth too. And again, just a place to. It must have been a church. The battleship. And then scribbles. I think that might have been. I have a bad habit of leaving the last page blank. But so anyway, that's basically what one of my little sketchbooks looks like. This is a really good size. I have a couple bigger sketchbooks, but you know, at a certain point you just don't have the space for it. But yeah, Hope that satisfies your curiosity for a couple of people that asked what sketchbooks, my little sketchbooks look like. I'm going to do another travel journal. I don't know if it'll be like this. I did a watercolor one. Maybe I'll do a video of the watercolor sketchbook too. Actually, it might be right here if I can reach it without. So this is the size right here, right, of this, and then if I can reach it, I think I can. Yes, I can. So I bought this watercolor sketchbook. This was the year 2 years before. So this is mostly, I think, going to be San Diego. It is. And this was a watercolor experiment, and I actually kind of liked. This was a lot of fun to do. It's gonna be harder to. I'm definitely not very very good with watercolor. I kind of stick to just flat colors and things, but it does have a kind of a feel to it that I was digging. But again, I remember a lot of things about this that I would have forgotten, like this little cafe in Carlsbad where I had breakfast, and the waitress, and this guy working, and then this guy that looked like a combination of Bob Ross and Santa that walked in, and then just different people making notes and things. This is actually, I think, a better travel journal than the other one. Maybe I'll do this one again this year, because I left it kind of blank. This is 2015. But just some funny things that like this guy was, I think, from Germany, and him and his wife were talking about flying in. And this is not something like I'm drawing while I'm there. I'm making observations. The old famous artist school that a lot of the classic illustrators in the 20th century, there was a correspondence course you could take, and even like blanking on names. Saturday Evening Post artist. Norman Rockwell was one of the and guys like that. Their motto was "See, Observe, Remember." So you can, even if you don't have the sketchbook with you, you can look and just recognize places and features, and then try to commit them to memory enough to then soon after draw them. And that's kind of what I did here. I'm just paying attention. This girl was funny. She was talking about with a friend, and I think I was on the train with a lot of commuters one day because they were going to work, and I was heading down to San Diego, and she was talking about how hitting on guys, or guys hitting on her in a bar, and she's like, what did she say? When meeting guys, she wanted to have an alter ego to make up, so she wouldn't have to give her real name or whatever. Ubiquitous security uniform. This is again. This is actually the same shot I used in my. This is the first time I kind of try to capture the floor. Then I used it again in that comic. This was the first kind of overwhelming experience tried to put in to a picture there. I met up with a couple friends and we were just doing sketching one morning where the food trucks are. So these are just people meandering about. You see kind of weird things. Two guys together. One guy was wearing his hat forward, the other backwards. Ill-fitting Superman. But yeah, lots of people, lots of backpacks. This was the year Sharknado 3 came out. Everybody had these really high hat things, advertisements. I did sit down in a corner before the show opened and sketch this. So I was sitting there are little places you can find to kind of sit down on the sidewalk, kind of tucked in a little corner, and I wanted to get these little entrances everybody's familiar with to get through if you're trying to meet someone, you gotta know where you are. Breakfast and people taking pictures, and this might be it. I remember this guy was dressed as a zombie, and there's a restaurant called the Tin Fish, and he was staggering around, and then as people were stopping to look, and he'd charge at them and scream and scare them. See, that's all I did though, so this would actually be good. Maybe this year I will see how my art skills in this particular medium have progressed or regressed, and do the 2018 one. This was a Kickstarter, the Perfect Sketchbook, and even though I'm not really good at or experienced with watercolor. I have used enough watercolor sketches and sketchbooks and paper and things to know when I'm fighting the paper, and this thing was the best paper. It's made by a painter. It's fantastic, and he made a bigger one. I got that one too. So if you ever can buy, have the opportunity to get, it's called the Perfect Sketchbook, do it. Get it. It's good. All right, so that'll do it for this one. Like and subscribe and share. If you have any other requests for videos, leave it in the comments below. Hit the bell for notifications, because just being subscribed does not mean you're going to be notified. And there's a couple other requests for videos that I got last time, so I will tackle those starting probably tomorrow. So thanks. See you next time.